Hey everyone, a lot of you will know we have a site full of team comps for TFT, but we also do these expert video guides to take it one step further. You can find all of our comps for set 5 on our website, and all the information like items, transitions, and positioning in the link down below. We use Vel'Koz as our main carry and surround him with the Abomination units to provide additional frontline and damage. The rest of the comp then uses Spellweaver units to buff up Vel'Koz's damage. This is a default leveling comp, meaning it doesn't rely on any 3-star units, and you'll level up at a regular pace. Look to stabilize at level 7 with at least one copy of Vel'Koz before rolling down at level 8 to finish your team with high-cost units like Volibear and Fiddlesticks. At level 8, you'll want to run Vel'Koz, Nunu, Brand, Callista, Volibear, Fiddlesticks, Zyra, and Ziggs. Your best chance to win with this comp is to finish the team with all 2-star units and have solid items for Vel'Koz and your monstrosity. The strength of this comp mostly depends on the meta since it revolves around a 4-cost carry. To push your advantage, try using the Abomination trait early to get on a win streak. This can greatly help your economy in the late game, which will allow you to potentially go level 9 or look for a 3-star Vel'Koz. The 2 units that are most replaceable in the team are Zyra and Ziggs. While the Spellweaver buff is useful, late game you can opt to replace them with higher value units. A good example of which are Heimerdinger and Ivern. They work great together, and Heimerdinger can become a secondary late game carry if you have enough extra magic damage items for him. Alternatively, you could use someone like Gwen, who provides Mystic along with Fiddlesticks, and can effectively use a wide variety of items. The only buildable emblem that matters too much in this comp is Spellweaver emblem. Being able to replace Ziggs with a 5-cost unit like Heimer or Gwen and still keep Spellweaver 4 really adds another level to the team. For Radiant items, our first priority is obviously Vel'Koz. There are plenty of good options for damage such as Radiant Jeweled Gauntlet, Radiant Rabadon's Death Cap, and Radiant Hand of Justice. Note that if you have a Radiant Hand of Justice, you won't need to build a healing item on him, giving him space for extra damage. If you can't find a good item for Vel'Koz, getting a strong item on Scion is your next best bet. Radiant Warmogs is great on Nunu, and gives both him and the monstrosity a bunch of extra health. Radiant Runan's Hurricane helps your monstrosity take down the enemy team more effectively. The extra bolt means you can start hitting backline units before completely tearing through the front line. Moving on to general items, the best in slot for Vel'Koz hasn't changed much with the mid-set. He still wants Spear of Shojin as his mana generation, a damage item like Rabadon's Death Cap or Jeweled Gauntlet, and lastly a healing item like Hextech Gunblade. If you can't build healing, you can always give him a second damage item. Whatever Radiant item you build simply replaces one of these core item categories for Vel'Koz. For example, Spear of Shojin, Radiant Jeweled Gauntlet, and Hextech Gunblade sets him up to cast quickly, do a lot of damage, and keep his health high. The monstrosity will receive most of your non-magic damage items. You can always slam items early on the Abomination to try and start a win streak, or stabilize when you use late game items for Vel'Koz. Warmog's Armor is Nunu's best item and also a great one for Scion. For the other 2 items, we recommend Runan's Hurricane and Last Whisper for Brand and Callista. These 2 items are great for scaling his damage and also helping him shred armor from tanky frontline units. As always, Morella Nomicon is a great slam in any comp planning to run Volibear. Just don't let it take up a spot on Vel'Koz. Zyra can hold it effectively. She's also a great unit to hold extra magic damage items like Rabadon's or Spear of Shojin. Later on, you can move those items to Heimerdinger for extra value. Now let's break down our strategy stage by stage. With almost all default comps, you can start the game with just about any units and look to either win streak or lose streak. Try to hold some Abomination units while you wait to find Nunu. Level up to 6 at 3-2 and build the strongest board you can with the units you find. Continue making your team stronger while picking up core units you find along the way. Do consider rolling if you don't have Abomination 3 yet, as it'll save you a ton of HP through stage 3. Level up to 7 at 4-1. If you need to stabilize, you should roll down a bit in order to find and build a strong team. If you're healthy or strong enough to hold off, wait until level 8 to roll down. Level up to 8 at 5-1 and roll down to complete your team. Here's the main positioning you'll be using most of the time. Because Scion charges towards the top right corner while Zyra and Vel'Koz target the top left corner, it's very difficult for opponents to position around you. For the most part though, you'll want Vel'Koz to hit the main carry, so if the enemy switches sides, you should mirror your backline to get favorable ability targeting. Finding a Nunu early will be difficult, but can really help the early game. If you don't have him, you can do things like Brawlers or Hellions as your frontline instead. That'll give you everything you need to know to win with our Abomination Squid comp. Remember, you can follow along with this guide in-game with our TFT overlay, so make sure you download that and bring it with you into your next game.